Qualifying presented by Napa Auto Parts. Big 400-miler here tomorrow. 7 races to go to the chase. With a Hall of Famer, Dale Earnhardt Jr., our crew chief, Steve Letarte. I'm Adam Alexander. Down on the pit lane, Shannon Spake, Danielle Trotta. This is a fun place to come for a race. Tomorrow night here is going to be electric, Dale.
Yeah, this racetrack has been reconfigured, and ever since then, it has been electrifying, and the drivers love it, fans love it. Qualifying is going to be important. Track position, always important. First car on the racetrack, pulling off pit road onto the banking now, and you got to get up to speed quickly. This lap will be all about top speed, so giving yourself the ability to make the lap as long as possible coming to the green. So get up against that wall and add feet to the distance, allowing the car as much runway as possible to be able to build up speed before taking the green flag. We also, Steve, last year and over the last couple of years, balance and handling has not come easy for some of these cars in qualifying, so we'll keep an eye on that.
Yeah, no practice. This will be the only laps run today, and you mentioned as long of a get up to speed lap as possible, and then the opposite on your lap itself, as tidy as you can be around the bottom of the racetrack. You see that white and yellow line on the bottom.
See how low he is on the straightaway, as Steve mentioned. On the green flag lap, you're wanting to shorten the lap, take feet off the lap, down into the bottom of the corner, staying low as possible. Even getting up the racetrack just that foot is adding a couple of hundreds of feet to the length of the lap, and it's a thousandth of a second here and there that you're adding to the time. So being perfect here on the line is critical.
B.J. McLeod going to make his 3rd start of the year, and he puts it on the board at 31.74. Let's go to Shannon.
Yeah, down here we're walking. We had our shade. Spin on the track. We'll get back to Tyler Reddick in just a second.
Yeah, and that's Chad Fincham in the 66.
Right to it.
Dale, you were just talking about
Something's dragging here pretty bad, Carl.
And with no practice, these teams kind of set the car back on the rear shocks, make them as aerodynamic as possible. You heard something dragging. Chad Fincham was reported in, and now
I got to the middle of the corner. It just locked down.
So let's take a look. He's up at the top of the racetrack trying to build the speed, and look at the back of the race car, see if anything comes out from behind it, any dust. It's just loose. You don't really see the car bottoming out or any of the telltale signs of anything hitting the ground, but it comes around. And last time we were here, Eric Jones, several drivers had some big moments trying to drive these cars. Now, as he spins back up the track across the bank, and there, Steve, he does terrible damage to the diffuser, and they got a lot of work to do to be able to have that car race ready for tomorrow.
Yeah, right here, as it comes back up, the whole diffuser, you can see it behind the rear tires. It's going to be completely drug off right there.
2 rounds of qualifying, 38 cars here. Everybody makes the show. Round 1 sets the lineup for tomorrow's race, 11 to 38. Top 10 advance to run for the pole. Let's go back down to Shannon.
Yeah, let's try this one again, Adam. All right, Tyler Reddick, of course, the most recent winner here at Atlanta, but you did that with that right front completely torn off. The car looks in good shape right now. I do want to ask you about the points. I don't have to tell you that Denny has not been great at this racetrack, so how much do you look at this as maybe an opportunity to overcome some of those 44 points?
I mean, not just this weekend, but every race remaining is a great opportunity. Obviously, Denny's strong, but you know, we've been very strong too. And you know, when I look back at like the last month, I mean, the speed that we're bringing to the racetrack in our Toyota Camrys from airspeed is still really been outstanding. We've just we've been a part of some crazy circumstances, some self-inflicted, some out of our control. So the speed's there. So yeah, 44 points isn't ideal, but I mean, you know, I think back to the ground that Denny was able to gain on us in a short time. So if we get it rolling again, hopefully we can do the same.
Talk about some crazy stuff. We did mention that Atlanta win and how you got that done. Track temp different time of the season. How much does apply when you jump in this car right now to qualify?
I just think everything that we focus on becomes more important. There it is, yeah. Everything becomes more important in the summer race. I think that right front fender is a lot more valuable in the summer race as well. So, yeah, just really looking forward to this race tomorrow night. The cars are going to be on edge. That's what I like to do when we're here at EchoPark. Is just we have the drafting, and then we've got the handling and just, you know, how fast things happen here. It all just it's a very fast-paced thrill ride the whole race. So every time we come here, I look forward to it, and it's just really fun again how different the two races just play out with the track grip and everything that goes into it.
Thank you, Tyler.
You're welcome.
Fast-paced thrill ride. Love that. Danielle?
Shannon here with SVG, who finished 6th at Atlanta in February. It's a hot day, Shane.
Yeah.
What are your expectations for having a fast lap, a decent qualifying spot, but you want your car to drive well tomorrow?
Yeah, you kind of summed it up. It's hot, very windy as well, so see how Connor goes here. Looked pretty dodgy there for the 66, so yeah, hopefully we're okay.
Shane Van Gisbergen and Adam looking to put a fast lap down just a little bit.
Yeah, and he's one of those drivers hanging right around that chase cut line, so it's important for them to get a good qualifying run, but more importantly, tomorrow advance up front, have a chance to get some stage points and pad their cushion. And here is his teammate, and he referenced Connor Zilich in the 88.
Man, he got close to the wall coming off of turn 4.
Well, when the 66 spun and the track went under yellow, I was trying to see who was the car that was on there up to speed lap. Of course it was Connor Zilich in the 88. This poor young man has had no luck. Had some mistakes of their own, but then there are other issues that compound on them, which I don't think were their own mistake, although I like SVG dodgy. That's a good term. I might have to use that for tomorrow night.
He's always got some of the best vocabulary.
Great.
Saw the green and the tracker for Zilich, and he goes P1, 31-19, finished 11th in the summertime here last year.
To give you an idea, we see normally around a high 30. We've had a 30.97, a 30.90, a 30.92. So I think sub 31 seconds is probably what the pole sitter will look like.
This car looks like it has a very difficult, tough ride quality. You saw it down the front straightaway, kind of pogoing on the front end a little bit. Look how rough this ride is. That's violent inside the car. You feel that in your kidneys and all through your back.
Now these drivers,
he's chasing it up the racetrack a little bit there, Steve. He's a little nervous to turn the steering wheel and keep it tight around the bottom.
And these teams can make adjustments while the cars are impounded. They can't change the setups and things like that. You can change the heights around a little bit, and those things will happen. But I think your point about nervous with the wheel really made sense to me. He kind of had let the car track wherever it wanted to go.
31-28 puts Austin Hill second. 21, Josh Berry on track.
Man, they just clip right around here. And this is what you kind of have to get used to tomorrow in the race. It's everything we see at Daytona and Talladega sandwiched down into a mile and a half. It's kind of like arena football. That's how I think about it, right? It's a normal game sped up in smaller confines.
But you're playing with the same number of players.
Yeah,
I mean, arena football, you condense the field, but you lessen the number of guys out there. Here, it's the same number of competitors, which makes it so challenging, and that's why everything happens so fast.
See how Josh is able to stay tight around the bottom. Keep that car really close to the apron.
Good job. 31.09.
Let's go down to Danielle.
Adam, happy birthday. You look 29. I'm here with the driver of the 42 who actually had a birthday 30 days ago. Yeah, 30 days ago. Someone told me it was his birthday this morning. I said, happy birthday, John Hunter. You said,
it's not my birthday.
It's not my birthday, but it is double A's. John Hunter, what's it going to take to put it on the pole? And do you want to start up front knowing you need your car to handle for tomorrow's race?
Yeah, I don't necessarily think starting up front is going to be in our cards today. I feel like we brought a package just built for race trim. We struggled here in the spring a little bit with some drivability things, and came back here to try and put ourselves in the best race trim spot as possible, handling wise and speed wise. So I'm looking forward to getting out here and making a lap today. Any day that you get to get in a race car is a good day, even when it's not your birthday. So looking forward to getting out here and going racing tomorrow. Pie Barker colors, we're in their hometown here in Atlanta, so I'm super excited to have them back on board this weekend, and hopefully we can go get a win tomorrow. We'll see.
June 11th, July 11th. Happy birthday, Adam Alexander.
Well, you said 29. I'd just take his car number 42. I'm neither of those, actually. Just keep going north. By the way, we're having some data issues. Josh Berry is the quickest right now in qualifying. Saw him run a moment ago as we check in here on Cody Ware in the 51. Things have populated now, correcting our pylon, putting Berry up there in the top spot. Ware goes fifth of the 6 drivers that have been on track.
felt okay, just felt kind of bogged down.
Talking about being bogged down, that's just the drag on the car. These cars have a ton of drag on them. Out there by yourself, it does feel like the car is just in a big, steady, heavy wind. You're always kind of fighting it against the resistance of the drag around the track. Big old spoiler on the back of the car.
Opportunity for some when we look at the chase standings and drivers. Think about someone like Noah, 3 top 5 finishes in his career, and all 3 were at drafting style racetracks. So you have to look at Atlanta as just an opportunity. You just never know what the race may present.
The other thing he's got going for him, he's in a Ford, and we've seen them enjoy a tremendous amount of success, especially in qualifying when it comes to these drafting tracks. But he's 6th, 31.46 for Noah Gregson.
Yeah, a little surprised by that. Expected a little more speed out of that car from front row. They've qualified well here in the past. Ryan Preece on the field. He's had a little fun with his teammate this week, Chris Buescher.
Well, he thought it was funny.
Yeah, he actually paid to have these billboards on the road point Chris Buescher fans toward the racetrack.
One said 894 miles to Prosper, Texas, which is Chris's hometown. I thought that was great. And, hey, you have to give a big attaboy to everything Ryan Preece has been doing, hanging right around that chase cut line and trying to make his way into postseason contention. Had a lot of green early in his lap, back to the red with a tracker, and he will go second behind his Ford teammate, Ryan Preece, a 31.109.
It's Chris Buescher.
Michael McDowell, you talk about underrated drafters, and he's one of them. I mean, you see what he did out west on the road courses. We know he's good at that style of racing, but he's pretty good when it comes to the draft as well.
And he's sitting right there at minus 34 to the cut line to be able to make the chase. And he has to come here to a racetrack, to your point, and say, hey, man, we have to maximize opportunities on weekends like this. He will be aggressive for stage points and to be able to finish well in the race. So imagine that 71, a little bit of a movement right there. Car getting a little bit loose in the middle of the corner.
Looked a lot like the lap for Ryan Preece. A lot of green, then a flash of red through 3 and 4. And McDowell will go second. 9 thousandths quicker than Ryan Preece. Barry, McDowell, Preece, Zilich, Austin Hill, the top 5. It's the opening round of qualifying at EchoPark Speedway. We're south of Atlanta, one of the great sports towns, and so much to see and
Featuring pit reporter Heather DeBow. So Heather, what's your earliest memory of racing?
My first race was at Phoenix, and Dale Earnhardt Sr. was still racing. And I used to sit on Rattlesnake Hill with my family. We'd have to get up really early in the morning, like I'm talking like 4 a.m. to get there first so that you could get a good spot.
Do you remember the first time you were on air for PRN?
I had asked Brad Gilly if I could shadow him during qualifying. And the next thing you know, he looks at me and says, go ahead, you do the next one. I'm not even working, bro. But yeah, they let me interview Jimmy Johnson during qualifying at Texas. I was in street clothes. It was wild.
What's your advice for young women trying to work in motorsports?
Take any opportunity you get offered. As recently as Bristol, I was there and they needed someone to fill in on pit road for CW, and they said, can you step in? I said, yes, sign me up, put me in, coach.
This has been a PRN Pit Stop featuring Heather DeBow.
You're listening to live coverage from the Performance Racing Network of the NASCAR Cup Series.
Back at EchoPark Speedway, qualifying underway for the Quaker State 400. Everyone chasing Josh Berry at the moment. Zane Smith getting up to speed gives us an opportunity to check once again with Andrew Kurland.
Ross Chastain is a 2-time runner-up here at this track. You've come so close. So, you know, is this the year? Is this finally the time you're going to get one spot better?
I have no idea. I don't know how we finished well in those other ones. It's so tough to know here. And you get a wind gust like this, man.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Wind's really ripping down here on pit road, but no, it's yeah, if you're in turn 4, get ready. It's coming your way. Coming from turn 1 to turn 4, got a heck of a tailwind down the backstretch for Zane Smith here, but no, it's yeah, we'll do what we can to you know, get a good pit stall selection by qualifying well, and then from there just see how the cards fall tomorrow night. We have no idea.
With that wind, I saw your PR rep Lauren, her hat flew halfway down pit road. So there's cloud cover right now. How much extra speed could that possibly give you on a lap?
Old Atlanta, a lot. If you caught a cloud like this, and yeah, it would be big. But no, not anything here, I don't think, with EchoPark Speedway. And yeah, with Lauren's hat, I mean, it's big enough to cover half of pit road, so it makes sense it flew halfway.
All right, well, Ryan, that's Rush saying with some good play-by-play here on the weather that's going on pit road.
And Hocevar, me and you were just down here trying to stay on our feet on pit road. Obviously, you've had great success here at EchoPark Speedway the last few races. What are you looking for in this qualifying lap?
I don't know. This is an off day for me almost. There's normally like a lot of pressure on qualifying and everything, and you know, this you hold it wide open and see how fast you go. And, you know, really like qualifying only really matters for pit selection, but even then, for how we run the race, it doesn't really matter. So. Yeah, it's very rare that you get to go through a qualifying session and, you know, not worry if you qualify first or 31st and feel like you still win the race, no problem. And, you know, I think that's translated well for us here in the past.
Well, even with a simpler qualifying lap, does it change with the weather coming in, the wind conditions, the cloud cover whatsoever?
Yeah.
Spoiler on the back and all the drag the car has. Down this part of the racetrack, you're getting pushed. The wind's in your back. You're going faster into turn 3 than you will going into turn 1. Right now, the wind's starting to get into the door of the car and push it up the racetrack. This is where they'll handle the worst on this windy racetrack. Now you're in a headwind. Now the car doesn't want to do anything, accelerate. Down this front straightaway, you're just fighting against the wind off into turn 1.
Great lap for Ricky Stenhouse Jr. He goes to the top, 31.080. And as you check out our tracker, we are now tracking against 10th place.
That finish without a right front fender. He thought the fender would matter more this time of year. Basically, with the warmer racing
time, heard from him moments ago, Tyler Reddick.
Well, you mentioned when he was watching that finish without a right front fender, he thought the fender would matter more this time of year. Basically, with the warmer racetrack, even in the evening, the warmer racetrack's just going to require some more grip as that car is darty off the. Seems like a bit of a handful. I mean, look at this thing up and down. He's just chasing it up the racetrack. Looks like he's out of the gas at one point. I think he's going to have something to say about this lap. This is busier than I think he was looking for behind the wheel.
31.30 for Reddick puts him 7th of the 13 cars that have had an opportunity to hit the track.
He'll be having a hard time getting good sleep tonight, wondering about what changes they can make to make this car drivable for the race tomorrow. Riding on board with Larson. The wind at the moment around 10 mile an hour with 15 mile an hour gusts. So you're hoping that you get the gust down the back straightaway and it dies down when you come off of turn 4.
Yeah. That 45 car, to your point, it's one thing to not be the fastest thing here, but you want it to drive good. He wasn't very fast, and it looked like it was an absolute handful. That is going to be a sleepless night.
Good lap for Larson. He's now quickest in qualifying. 30.96, and the first driver to go south of the 31-second bracket in qualifying. Shannon?
Down here with two-time Atlanta winner Joey Logano, we're sitting here watching the wind move in, the cloud coverage come over the racetrack. How much do you have to rethink the lap when the weather conditions change so rapidly?
Well, it got pretty gusty out of nowhere. So, you know, it just is what it is. You just figure it out when you get out there. But no, the whole lap's kind of a, to be honest with you, a question the whole time because you haven't made a lap here. You're assuming the car's going to drive good, but you don't really know that until you get down in the corner. And at that point, you just got to start figuring it out really quickly. So it's already a question, just to add another part of it when it comes to the wind.
Joey Logano currently 16 below the cut line. Take a look at this awesome car, guys. It is like a cinnamon disc red down here for this 22.
A bit of an inside joke there from Shannon, but I do appreciate it.
Yeah, if you know what a cinnamon disc is, then you're Adam's buddy, because I had to look it up.
Fill up my social media. Great qualifying run for Austin Dillon, 31.025. He is now second. Dillon, a really, really good racer in the draft as we check in on the 42 of John Hunter Nemechek. Nemechek, a winner here in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series.
He was 10th here in February. He's got 5 starts, and that was his best finish of the 5.
And Legacy just been flashing all summer, both he and teammate Eric Jones. And he'll jump below that cut line for now, 7th on the board. Next out, Ty Dillon, driving for Team Collie. You know, it was a year ago that we opened up the in-season challenge right here at EchoPark Speedway, and he pulled a big upset. Denny Hamlin had the problems. Ty Dillon was able to advance and rode it all the way to the final. Almost did it again in the in-season challenge opener at Sonoma.
He looks forward to the races. A little bit of movement on the back of the car right there, Steve. See the car wandering around? But you just stay in the throttle. If you lift off the gas, the drag will kill you, and you'll have a terrible lap here. So he's very uncomfortable through turns 3 and 4 there.
P4, right?
Heard it on the radio, P4. 31.083, 3/1000ths behind Stenhouse, who is third. And we talk about those drivers right around the chase cut line. And here comes Shane Van Gisbergen.
Much like the 38 of Zane Smith, when I look at the 97 of SVG, road courses are done for the year. Improving at the ovals, currently above, 30 points above the cut line. I think this is a track, much like the regular season finale at Daytona, where Shane has to be thinking about scoring points, outscoring his competitors, and trying to solidify his spot on the chase.
Yeah, that's going to be the most interesting thing for me tomorrow, especially in stage 1 and 2, is we'll have a lot of cars aggressively going after stage points, more than ever, I believe, than with the new system this year. There's a lot of guys that need to protect their position or gain to the cut line, so it'll be pretty insane seeing how they can do that.
SVG, third in qualifying. Go inside the race with NASCAR Driver Cam, presented by Straight Talk Wireless. Access every in-car camera with driver data, multi-view, full team audio, and more. Watch NASCAR Driver Cam all season long, only on HBO Max. How about this perspective? Riding with Brad Keselowski, buildsubmarines.com, onboard camera, the gyro cam.
It's good perspective to see kind of how bumpy some of the racetrack is.
Ryan Preece has already gone for RFK. He is 8th. And Brad goes up to 2nd. Good lap there. 30.
So far, 30.
99 for the driver who's won 7 times in the draft and twice has been a runner-up here at EchoPark Speedway. It's round 1 qualifying on True TV. Stick around.
Me through turns and potential dangers on the track. I physically train to handle the stress of driving, and I have software helping my crew chief and engineers make the right strategy calls. And with all this, I never take my eyes off the road, and neither should you. One distraction can change everything in one instant.
From EchoPark Speedway in Hampton, Georgia, this is PRN, the Performance Racing Network.
Hi, this is Doug Rice of PRN. Join me for another great episode of Fast Talk.
We love to make lists, we love to rank things, we love to do all of that, but I think all I can say definitively is he is the best right now.
Listen, Kyle Larson's a threat when he walks in anywhere. If we're going to race from here across the street to the mall, Kyle Larson's a threat. Okay, so he's going to be a threat for the championship.
There are too many good tracks for Kyle Larson in that final 10 to take him out of that conversation.
That's Fast Talk right here on PRN.
Here's Chase Elliott on the importance of sponsors like Napa.
It is fit for our 13th year together. They've been a great partner. I think as time goes on, those relationships get better if you're lucky enough to have a partner for that length of time. They get to know you, you get to know them, we figure out what works for each other, and we can really start pulling the rope in the same direction. And I think that that's where our relationship has really thrived the most.
NASCAR Network Radio drives business. You're listening to the Performance Racing Network's live coverage of the NASCAR Cup Series.
Back at EchoPark Speedway here in Atlanta, Georgia, we're halfway through the full field making their first qualifying lap. After qualifying is complete in round 1, they'll take the top 10 drivers. They'll advance to round number 2, where they will run for the pole. Ross Chastain has the Moose Fraternity colors on his number 1 Chevrolet this weekend. Coming off the top of the racetrack in turn number 4, trying to carry as much momentum as he can, Nick, as he's about to take the green flag.
Driver that Ross will try to knock out of the top 10 right now is John Hunter Nemechek at 177.829. So we'll see what the Watermelon Man can do as Ross Chastain carries a lot of speed out of turn number 2. Brad, he is already halfway down the back straightaway here at EchoPark.
And he has taken a low line down the back straightaway, trying to shorten this 1.54-mile oval as much as he can. But the big key is stability. Looks like he has that through turns 3 and 4. Chastain is going to bring that Chevrolet to the start-finish line, and we will see where he clocks in this time by. And Nick, he goes to the top.
Nice lap for Ross Chastain. 179.487 miles per hour puts that number 1 car in the number 1 spot.
Stayed in the fight, and when you look at the last month, we've started to see some flashes of speed with top 10 finishes. You start thinking about some of these tracks that we're going to go to, in particular here, where we'll race tomorrow evening at EchoPark, and you feel like he's got a real shot to make something happen.
Good lap going at the moment. He's going to be down in the 30-90s. Contending for the fastest lap here if he keeps trending in this direction.
Teammate up there in 4th.
Oh yeah, this is going to ring the bell, I think.
Look at this. Right out of the commercial break to the top, 30.88 for Ross Chastain. He leads the way, Shannon.
Yeah, down here with Chase Elliott, just getting ready to climb in his car. Alan Gustafson, your crew chief, told me earlier today that speed comes from confidence in the race car. So what will you have to see in this car to know that you've got confidence?
I don't know. I have to find out. I have to learn really, really fast today for sure. So it's, yeah, always a little bit of a challenge just going out without any laps and qualifying, especially this track is aging as quick as it is each year. But yeah, hopefully get our Napa Chevy just a good solid starting spot and go to work tomorrow. It's going to be a crazy race as it always is here at Atlanta now. So I'm excited to see what the Napa Chevy has today, and we'll yeah, hopefully still be hanging around there at the end tomorrow.
We'll let you climb in the race car. If you take a look at the back of his fire suit, those guys, as he walks over there, designed by one of the local children's hospital here. So cool that he supports the local children. Did this again last year as well when he won that race.
Yeah, really cool. Designed to drive. A couple of local kids designed the paint scheme, the driver's uniform, and he's raised almost $600,000 for that group.
Gilliland ends up 11th, and that's interesting to me because front row's always had good speed here. They lost whatever mojo they had to be able to put a car up toward the front or on the front row. Ford's won the pole here in all 6 races that we've had qualifying with the new configuration. Could that change today?
When we talk about team improvements, Ross Chastain, that lap of him is a track record. 38.8 is the fastest we've seen this car go around the reconfigured Atlanta. So teams continuing to find more and more pace as now we see Hocevar maybe just going to squeak into the top 10. Remember that top 10 runs the second time. I don't know if he's going to stay there. 6 with a handful of cars to go.
I just go back to the springtime when Hocevar had a tire issue, makes a pit stop unscheduled, goes 2 laps down, gets a free pass, gets another free pass back on the lead lap, and he was right there in it at the very end. A.J. Allmendinger on track, Danielle.
Asked his crew chief, Trent Owens, this morning where he wants this car to qualify. He said the honey hole, we believe, is 18th to 22nd. That means your car is exactly where I think it needs to be handling-wise in order to race tomorrow. Steve, you have to help our fans watching on True TV make sense of this. Why don't cars want to start on the pole? Why is mid-pack, where a lot of crew chiefs feel the sweet spot is going to be?
Well, I would love to have a car that can start on the pole with the downforce that I think I need to qualify mid-pack. I mean, basically what they're saying is if you qualify in the front 5, 6, 7, 8 spots that you don't have enough natural downforce built in your car. It's too slick. And when we get out here in race trim, all the cars together and tires get old, you're going to be slipping and sliding and ill handling. Now, I will say, while I understand with that train of thought, you know, I also think there are times where you're too conservative and you come here with downforce built in and in dirty air, your car drives just as bad. So the only thing that'll tell the tale will be tomorrow in the race.
Eric Jones really good here last summer. First career win came in the draft, summertime at Daytona almost 10 years ago. Going to jump in front of his teammate. Nemechek is 14th on the board as Jones goes into the top 5.
And basically, if you can think about this.
Good job right there, man. P5.
You know, to that conversation, continuing that conversation with Danielle's, we'll see Chris Buescher takes the racetrack. You know, it's basically, you know, how much downforce can you put in the car and at what penalty? And what I mean by that is, you know, most things that create downforce create drag. Stick your hand out the window going down the interstate. That force you're feeling against your hand, that is aerodynamic drag at 60 miles an hour. You can only imagine what it's like at 180 miles an hour. So every component, every selection, every checkbox you make to add some force pushing down on the race car comes at a cost of straight line speed.
The car really lost a lot of the advantage he had to Josh Berry through the turn. It was interesting, and he crossed the line just a couple thousandths ahead.
Buescher is 7th. He was 2nd the last time we went racing in the draft to Carson Hocevar at Talladega Superspeedway. Riley Herbst out in the 35. Been a good few weeks for him. Matched his career best in San Diego, finishing 8th. You see the numbers here. And backed it up with a top 10 at Chicago last Sunday.
You know, we've talked a lot about Corey Heim, who's gone to victory lane at San Diego, and him driving for 23:11. We haven't really heard a lot out of the Riley Herbst camp. You know, I don't think there's anything to report, but I just bring that storyline up because I'm waiting to hear what opportunity exists for Riley. You know, Corey Heim does drive part-time for 23:11. Is that Riley Herbst's future? Is it somewhere else in the Cup garage? Is it in the O'Reilly garage? I've yet to hear, but it's getting to that point in the season where I do have some question marks around some of these drivers and where they're going to end up.
18th for Riley Herbst.
18 right there.
Here's Joey Logano. You know, if you were to make a short list, just blindly going to one of these drafting races, you would always put Joey Logano there as someone who can go out and get it done. Just always had a nose for what it takes to win in the draft.
I had a conversation with him this morning about, hey, how much of it is on Paul Wolf making your car better? How much did you just have to put up with? And he said, you know, all the cars out there are slipping and sliding, but some cars, Dale, can enter the corner 3 wide top because my car hasn't been able to do that. Other cars could tow a train right around the yellow line and handle well enough. So he said, wow, there is a lot of dirty air and a lot of circumstances as this is going to be a monster lap for the 22 right here. This is going to be, yeah, there you go, a 30.86, fastest of everyone so far. He said it's a clear, some cars clearly have an advantage. They either drive better, have more overall speed, or some have both. So that's kind of the magic for this 22 car, to try to check both of those boxes.
I mean, it's fitting these two are going back-to-back because they're 1-2 when you talk about laps led at Atlanta since we reconfigured this place. Logano 30.86, Steve referenced it, and we'll see what Austin Cindric can do here. He's won 5 stages at this place.
I was going to say, he's the stage-winning machine here in Atlanta, and that really takes a lot of pressure off that final finishing order. If you can go out and score 10, 15, 16 points in the stages, you still want to finish well, but just takes a lot of the pressure off, and he also is going to have a great lap.
27 points above the cut line for the chase, so a good day tomorrow with a lot of stage points with exactly what Cindric has on the agenda.
On your break, P2 right now.
1,000th behind his teammate, 2nd for Cindric.
That's when Team Penske's pretty impressed. Look how well we prepare these two cars.
Here's Daniel Suarez, and you see the graphic, one here in 2024. That is a graphic that just does not tell the story of the victory. One of the great races ever, a 3-wide finish, and the top 3 separated by 7 1,000ths of a second. It was remarkable what he did here a couple of years ago.
Atlanta, the new configuration, has given us thrilling finishes every single time we come here. And Daniel has had a really good run over the last 7 races. wants to continue that progress, putting himself in a better, more comfortable position to be able to make the chase. I think that's a big surprise for a lot of people in this sport to see this 7-car comfortably in the top 16.
He's 5th in this opening round of qualifying. 9 to go in this first round, and here it is. And it was just remarkable coming to the finish by that much. Suarez, Blaney, and Kyle Busch. I'm not sure when you cross like that how you know what the results are.
You don't?
And it took some time to figure
system. One I had no interest in until that happened, and then I had to understand how you could tell the difference at that speed. It's pretty fascinating how they do it.
9 cars to go in this opening round of qualifying, so Joey Logano is locked into round 2. He'll run for the pole. Alex Bowman comes back in 4th. Top 5 run for him last Sunday at Chicagoland Speedway. So Logano and Cindric are now locked into round 2 as we welcome last year's winner, Chase Elliott, to the track in the 9.
You mentioned the paint scheme, and I think it's a great cause. You know, tip of the hat to Napa. You know, you talk about an iconic scheme. That Napa Chevrolet jumps off the track. For someone like Napa to allow this to all happen, to have their name still on the hood but a different design, says a lot about a brand that's been with Chase for quite a long time, and just a great cause.
Chase really loves to win at what is his home track. Lives about an hour and a half from here. He's got his best average finish of any driver at the new reconfigured Atlanta with a 9.3.
Right there between his teammates, Bowman, Elliott, Larson, 4th, 5th, and 6th right now.
We talk sleepers, and you mentioned Zane Smith. I will tell you, I don't know if it's fair to call him a sleeper, but Bubba Wallace, while his finishes at the last 5 races here, 8th, 22nd, 9th, you know, they don't jump off the page. When you re-watch those races, this car is in the mix a lot. Every Daytona, Talladega, he's just one of those drivers that has a knack of finding his way near the front. He has yet to, here at Atlanta, figured out to get in front of the right line at the right time and get the right push, but it wouldn't shock me if he gets those things all aligned.
And he's sitting 77 points above the cut line, and when you come to a Talladega, an Atlanta, a Daytona, in that type of a situation, it can be nerve-wracking because you can either come out of here with a huge gain or easily come out of here with a huge loss if you get yourself in trouble early. So he'll have to be smart in stage 1 and 2 trying to get himself across that finish line.
Bubba is 20th, will not advance to round 2. First career win came in the draft at Talladega. There you go. Ty Gibbs next out in the 54.
I was asking Tyler Allen, Ty Gibbs' crew chief, kind of what this racetrack compares to, if anything. He said it's really one of a kind. You know, it's definitely significantly unique was a term he used. And then I asked him the trick here, and he said you just have to be aggressive. You said it, Dale, about running to these stage finishes. He's like, man, you can't worry about wrecking. You have to be aggressive to every stage finish. If you get caught up in a wreck, that's fine. But in his opinion, the drivers that do it best are the ones that are just aggressive start to finish. Toyota's kind of as predicted, down a little bit, 21st on speed. They've been talking about that all week, that they didn't expect themselves to qualify well. You heard John Hunter Nemechek say the same thing. Well, that's okay if you race well. That's yet to be determined. We'll have to see that tomorrow night.
Top 5 in the pylon are locked in. 5 to go. I say locked in. Locked into a spot in round 2. 5 to go. The first of those, William Byron. Danielle.
Talked to his crew chief, Rudy Fugel, this morning. He said, big diffuser, same engine with horsepower as last year. This track is right in our wheelhouse. He said, yes, I want to qualify well, but it's secondary. The #1 priority for this car tomorrow is to have grip and downforce. Guys, perhaps his best run of the year last week at Chicago, sweeping the first and second stages, still looking for that first win of the season.
You see the lap time, obviously they have a bunch of drag and downforce built into the car, and that will probably pay off a lot early in the race, but as it gets later in the night, temperatures drop, grip in the track improves. You're trying to hit that target, and it's moving all the time, Steve. And they're just hoping that every time they come here, this track loses a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more grip. It does. It's an old, worn-out racetrack in its heyday, so we know that the surface is headed in that direction. So you're just hoping you're hitting that target perfectly for the end of the race tomorrow.
Well, we'll see what kind of target this 12 car hits. Penske 1-2 at the moment. I believe it's going to be 1-2-3 maybe at the pace Blaney's running. I think he's going to join his teammates as the fastest Fords and fastest cars here at EchoPark.
Eric Jones on the bubble, and he's going to fall below the line. New leader in round 1 of qualifying. Blaney to the top.
Cooler down.
30.83. Number 12 getting it done. Another outstanding drafter. 3 to go, round 1. Top 7 are locked in. Here's Christopher Bell. Had his 4th runner-up of the campaign Sunday at Chicago.
So it's clear split opinions. Fords 1, 2, 3, all from Team Penske. Max speed built into those cars. Obviously, there's some concessions made. They know it's going to be slipperier, the racetrack itself, than it was in the spring, but they also feel like speed's going to matter. Toyota's down the finishing order, whether that's by design or by just result. It's going to be a storyline to watch tomorrow night is why I bring it up. Which approach is going to be correct when they all get out there together?
Austin Dillon on the bubble. He's 10th, and here comes Bell back in the red.
Had a little bit of a moment there. Yeah. Car bouncing around a little bit on the back of the splitter or on the back of the stops, limiters.
He's 30th. Won this race a couple of years ago. 2 to go, both from the Toyota camp. First of those, runner-up springtime here, Chase Briscoe, who won at Chicago 6 days ago.
Yeah, dominant year for Toyota, currently blanked. None in the top 10. We'll see if that changes. You mentioned 2 left.
Talk about chasing the draft and being a runner-up here earlier this season. Won last fall at Talladega Superspeedway and got some green working here on this lap.
He gained that green in the corner and he loses it down the straightaway. And so just like similarly to last week, you can see where these cars are making speed and where they're not. That gives you a bit of an understanding of the drag that's built into the car. So it's my opinion that the Toyotas will be able to be more aggressive in the pack, especially when grip is low at a premium. These guys will be able to do more with their race cars and be on the offense. If you're in a car that's trimmed out, and let's assume that the Fords are, they're going to need track position, because if they don't stay in the front 5, front 3, they're not going to enjoy the clean air and the downforce and grip that they need. If they get trapped in the back of the field, they'll have a hard time trying to work their way forward and being on the offense and making moves.
I agree with your assessment. The question is, can the comfort in the Toyotas and their aggression behind the wheel translate into success? Can they get in front of the Fords? Will the race fall right? Will it be a short run, a long run? Those are all the unknowns.
Yeah, they may be too comfortable. Yeah. What we've seen in the past is the Fords go out there and dominate stage 1, stage 2, and then a Chevrolet come out of there and steal the win. We've seen that happen a few times with Chase Elliott and a few others. It seems like as the race gets toward the end, the gap between the Fords and the Chevys closes up and almost becomes even. Are the Toyotas? Do they have too much drag, too much downforce? That's going to be the question to answer.
The other thing I'd say, when you start back there, that compromised track position at a place where you can have the big one, it puts you right in the middle of the mess if something were to go wrong.
They're 2x2 all the way around this track the entire day, and so how do you move forward sometimes? It can be tricky.
No Toyotas advancing to round 2. Team Penske has started 1, 2, 3 twice. Watkins Glen, and right here at Atlanta, can they back it up as we move to the second round of qualifying? There are your top 10. They run for the pole when we continue from Atlanta.
America's military is unmatched, projecting power, denying passage to adversaries, and protecting our interest at the time and place of our choosing. America is winning. We will measure our success not
next session.
Brandon McSwain patted me on the backside and said, go do that again. No, this is a testament to everybody out of the ECR engine shop, together with the complete Pharaoh all the way into every group and every person that puts these cars together. That's what just made that speed. So I think it'll replicate that. I have no idea about anybody else. Like I told you off air, I don't know if there was even clouds or not. You asked me, I don't know. I just make sure I hit my shift points and hold the wheel as steady as I can.
Well, I'll pat you on the shoulder and say, go do that again. Good luck. Danielle?
Shannon, Daniel Suarez knows what it takes to get it done here at Atlanta. Won this race in 2024, qualified 8th in that first round. Daniel, did you get everything out of that first lap? What do you need to do again in this second?
Well, to be honest, Daniel, the guy did an amazing job. The car is plenty fast. I don't feel like I did an amazing job getting up to speed. I did an okay job, but seeing how tight it is, I actually feel like the car has a little bit more in it, maybe a couple more spots. But overall, super proud of the team. Spider Motorsports, Chevrolet, Freeway Insurance, HMS Power under the hood. I feel like we're going to be pretty good. It's definitely the best I've been here in qualifying ever, so super excited for that.
Ryan Sparks said, I don't care if the car chatters in qualifying. It's going to race great Sunday. It's qualifying well. Daniel Suarez looking to get the pole here today.
All right, Danielle, we know that every single weekend, every single one of these teams is looking for a little bit of an advantage, right? They're looking for a little bit of speed. Walking around the garage earlier this morning, I saw a lot of the teams, they were cutting off the little rubber hairs that were on all of these tires. Take a look. You see all of those little rubber hairs. They had little clippers and they were taking them all off. And this is because they really want to maximize the surface of the tire to that track. Every little advantage they think helps. Alan Gustafson told me anything that can disrupt the tire, disrupt the car is what they want to eliminate. So you see all of the tires that are down here for qualifying had those little hairs removed before they came out here. We talk about the differences between these types of tracks, the high downforce, speedway type tracks and other 1.5 miles or short tracks. That's one of the things that teams do here to maybe gain a little bit of an advantage. We'll be back with qualifying here at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
For the first time in over 40 years, a new option for people with motion sickness. Nereus is approved for the prevention of vomiting induced by motion in adults. In clinical studies on boats in the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, Nereus decreased vomiting by 60%.
The most common side effects of Nereus include drowsiness, headache, and fatigue. Nereus may impair your ability to drive or operate heavy machinery.
Dale Earnhardt Jr., Steve Letarte in the booth. I'm Adam Alexander. Shannon and Danielle hanging out on pit road. Go slowest to fastest round 2 based on the time you put on the board in round 1.
Oh, some of those shots, pretty big camping turnout here in the infield in Atlanta. We're going to have a big show tonight for O'Reilly. You going to handicap that one for us, Adam? I know you've been studying your notes.
Well, I mean, when you come to this place, you immediately put Austin Hill as your favorite, right? I mean, five wins here, got a runner-up. I mean, that's pretty good. But I would say across the board, we've started to see some other teams come to play, compete with those guys from RCR. Should be a fun race tonight. Thrilling finish when we competed here in February with Sheldon Creed getting his first career win.
Interesting to see if these drivers will be able to improve. There's an argument that, the rolling resistance, the bearings, the transaxle would all be up to temperature and have less resistance, and that car right there is almost a 10th. That's a pretty big pickup from a 3102 to a 90. The negative would be maybe engine water temperatures up, tire maybe down a little bit on grip. Not that that's a huge issue, but maybe you put a little bit more wheel in the car. We'll see if that's a consistent trend.
Brad run a 99 on his lap. The wind has changed a little bit to kind of going maybe across the racetrack more so than in the down the back straightaway. So that's the same for everybody, but it might be more effective or more of an issue for some cars than others.
They'll reference that Brad ran a 30.99. He goes 31.019 here, so slows down just a little bit. He's second behind Austin Dillon.
We'd go to Daytona and Talladega and have second round qualifying or the top 10 would rerun again. And it was so surprising how some teams could find a 10th. Some teams knew some things to do to be able to go a little faster. And it may be already pre-built into the car. Never really learned what the secrets were, but other teams would run about the same lap time while others would go a whole 10th quicker. I was fortunate enough to be driving for HMS when they were always going to go a little quicker that second time out.
30.97 round 1 for Suarez.
Yeah, he's trending to improve on his lap.
Waves green, flash to red, going to be close, coming back to the line, chasing Austin Dillon. And he's second, missed it by 0.06 of a second. 30.91 for Suarez in round 2.
Next car on the track, Kyle Larson down the front straightaway to take the green.
One of the craziest stats to me,
how shallow he is.
Larson's so good as a race car driver, never won in the draft. Has always got speed, been in position so many times, 0 for 56. We'll see if this weekend he can get it done. Got a great lap going here.
Doesn't really enjoy so much, look at the movement in the steering wheel. Doesn't really enjoy the racing at Talladega and Daytona as much, but he does say this is fun stuff. Reconfiguration at Atlanta, he says, is pretty wild mentally. And
P1.
He jumps in front of Austin Dillon by 0.02 of a second. It is so tight.
Look at the speed, 176 down the straightaway. It's only going to drop to maybe 174, 2 miles an hour off in the middle of the corner. And that'll go up dramatically in the draft. When you get a tow, you're going to see much higher top speeds.
Elliott not going to have anything for his teammate. Larson continues to lead. Chase is fourth as we hit the halfway point of round 2 qualifying.
He just kind of ran a very similar lap to what he ran before. Maybe the wind being a little different adjusted the lap time somewhat, but not much of a pickup for Chase. And again, some guys have picked up quite a bit, some not at all.
But the order has shifted quite a bit. If you look at the original order, and the rerun has definitely changed the order of the top 10.
Not used to seeing that in the past,
Yeah, no, I always figure maybe there's one. This seems to be kind of a jumbled up result.
Bowman was 5th in round 1, ran a 30.94.
He's going to duplicate his lap almost exactly.
.30.93 this time around for Bowman. He is fourth. 4 cars to go. Chastain, and then the trio from Team Penske.
All the cars remaining ran 80s on their initial lap. If they can just back up what they ran, they'll all be able to beat Larson's lap. So he already kind of coming to the green. Chastain did a good job getting the motor up and getting all the acceleration in the car, but he's losing time as this lap goes by. Just continuing to lose lap time. This is not going to be something they're going to be happy about. Not able to back up the 88 at all. Almost a full tenth slower.
6 for Chastain. So Larson now knows he'll start on the front 2 rows. And we'll see if he's got anything for those Fords from Team Penske, who dominated round 1. First of the group out, Austin Cindric ran a 30.86 in that lap in round 1. Austin on a 45 race winless streak. Last time he went to victory lane in the draft last spring at Talladega.
Larson a little quicker around turn 1 and 2. Down the back straightaway though. Can the Ford trend in the other direction? It's not doing it.
This is really just impressing me that the lap that Larson ran, I thought that this too would be in the green.
Wow, 6th. Is there a threat to the Penske and Ford dominance in qualifying in Atlanta?
2 to go. Here's Joey Logano.
Green.
A lot of green.
Yeah, green. It's fascinating. I think you'll be able to hang on to it. 3/4 of the lap done.
It just got better and better. Strong lap, Joey Logano.
Checkered flag.
Jumps in front of Larson.
The check at the P1.
Pretty much the same lap he ran in the first segment. An 86 there, 85. That's going to be tough for Blaney, but the last car to go. Let's see if he can go out there and take it away from his teammate.
Blaney, the only driver from Team Penske to get to victory lane in 2026. Did it at Phoenix 15 races ago.
Losing a little bit down the back straightaway, holding flat, Steve. Man, this is going to be tight. Gonna have to have a good, clean, smooth 3 and 4.
Trending the right direction now on corner exit.
He's hanging on to it. Logano at the top, but he's not going to stay there. It's Ryan Blaney who wins the pole at EchoPark Speedway, 30.81 for the driver from High Point, North Carolina, who's picked up his 14th career pole.
Blaney's going to practice pit in, stayed in the gas all the way through 1 and 2.
3, 2, 1 now.
Oh man, Calvin, yeah, now he runs 90 miles an hour around the apron. One unique thing around Atlanta is there's split pit road speeds.
Purple, 3, 2, 1 now.
Look at him qualifying the pole and still doing work. I like it.
I'm going to tell you, that's such a great idea. With no practice here, go out and make a run. That could be a huge component in this race here tomorrow evening.
This goes back to what Danielle and Shannon were talking about, the preparation for qualifying is they have 2 laps today. And they're using each one for a little bit of practice. They probably didn't want to do that the first time. They didn't want to step on the brakes real hard. Here the second time, sits on the pole and practices pitting.
Team Penske, 1-2 in qualifying. There's your front row for tomorrow night. Ryan Blaney on the pole next to Joey Logano. Both outstanding when it comes to racing in the draft. And both know their way to victory lane at this place. Ryan Blaney did it in the old configuration 5 years ago. We'll see if he can add a draft win here in Georgia tomorrow night.
And Doug.
I'm glad.
Ball me. Limu, ball me again?
Again?
My bad! Only pay for what you need.
Joey Logano starting on the front row for a third straight race here at EchoPark Speedway.
You go further down the grid, the second page, opportunity. Think about Eric Jones, only 4 points to the good inside the chase standing. Same for SVG, who's currently above. They'll roll up in row 6, so close to that top 10, maybe some stage points on the horizon.
That's right, but where's Denny Hamlin? Where's Tyler Reddick? Where are all the favorites that have been winning all the races this year? They're mired deep into the field. You see right there, Connor Zilic. Bubba Wallace, expect him to be great driving that car through the field. There's Denny Hamlin, row 14. So the idea is that these cars are working with a lot of downforce and a lot of drag, and that's why they don't qualify well, but they should race extremely well tomorrow. Shannon, you got the pole sitter, Ryan Blaney.
I sure do. 5 wins at drafting tracks for Ryan Blaney will start up front in this race. And I think the debate all qualifying long has been if the car is fast, how does it race? What do you think?
Yeah, that's always the big debate. You know, how is it going to react tomorrow in the race, in traffic, as the track changes, as you get laps on tires. So all that stuff, you know, you hope you have a decent handle on. But, you know, goal for today was to try to, you know, qualify the best we could, and we were able to do that. So appreciate everyone in this 12 car for bringing me a fast car. It's great to have a Team Penske front row, so that part's great. And yeah, I look forward to tomorrow seeing what we got in the draft. Hopefully we can hang in there and contend for the win. So appreciate Body Armor, Flash IV for being on our car. Appreciate Ford Racing for what they do, bringing some fast race cars. Hopefully we can all find each other and contend for the win tomorrow night.
I mentioned how good you are on this type of track. Third in points right now. How much are you kind of looking at those guys in front of you and maybe thinking this might be a chance for you kind of get closer?
I mean, I look at the points a little bit. You know, those guys are still pretty far away from me, but there's a couple points battles between guys that are, you know, 4th, 5th in points to me that, you know, you kind of look at and try to beat. But at the end of the day, if you go run well in the race and go contend for a win, you're going to have a good day on that side of it. So I just try to think through, you know, all hundreds of miles of this place and, okay, how can it change? What might needed to be asked of your car, of yourself as a driver? How do you adjust to the racetrack and adjust to the draft as it's constantly changing during the race? But yeah, you do good in the race, you do good in points. So that's really the only thing I'm trying to do.
A place like this, Atlanta, how much of the speed comes from the car and how much comes from the driver?
100% from the driver.
You hear that, Steve Letarte?
100% from the car. You know, especially qualifying. I mean, my job is, you know, hit my shift points right, and that's it. You're wide open for the rest of the lap, and so it's really a huge testament. My guys, my 12 guys, they won this pole today. I just got the luxury of driving a fast car and put up a good lap time, and now my job tomorrow is a little bit harder for sure once everything changes, but this is their pole today, and I'm really proud of them for bringing a fast car.
Congratulations, Ryan.
Thank you, appreciate it.
So I'll give him the credit that today it was the car, but we got a present for you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. This is really nice. You know, I'm 53 today. I had cake downstairs. Now I'm getting the cookie. I think I'm going to put on 53 pounds this weekend, actually.
Well, man, we love working with you, and just you know, wanted to make sure you get celebrated.
I really appreciate that. Yeah, let's just celebrate all week long. All right, qualifying is done. It's Ryan Blaney who wins the pole. A host of big-time players in the top 10, and we'll have the starting grid when we continue live on True TV.
An exclusive presentation of PRN, the Performance Racing Network.
Just by a little bit. One lap to go. He's going to get him, though. He's going to get him. Gordon got loose in Harvick. Harvick by inches. He's going to get a run at him. Going to be another one of those fantastic Atlanta finishes. Here they come, and I think
This is PRN, the Performance Racing Network.
the mayor.
Here they come to the flag. 3 abreast. Photo finish. Daniel Suarez gets his 2nd Cup career win.
Chase Elliott in the 9 with the big momentum. Huge run coming. Here's Chase Elliott to the inside. He's going to clear into the lead. Home track
This is PRN, the Performance Racing Network.
I would say I hope we get more of that tomorrow, but undoubtedly we will. This place has been so fun. We look at the schedule. The 5 weeks in NASCAR on TNT. It was SVG at Sonoma last week. Chase Briscoe. 3 to go in our run, Dale.
This is
last
PRN,
week was a lot of fun.
the Performance
Nothing
Racing
is like
Network.
Atlanta. So the racing we're going to see here tomorrow is must-see TV. It's a must-attend racetrack now on the circuit. And then, Steve, we go to Wilkesboro the following weekend. We haven't raced there for points since 1996. It's just incredible that we even have this track back, and I can't wait to see what a 450-lap race looks like there.
Yeah, what's old is new again. I can't wait to see how these drivers manage that short track, and then to crown the in-season challenge champion at Indianapolis Motor Speedway on the bricks is going to be just a ton of fun.
Let's hear from Kyle Larson, starting third. Shannon.
That's right, and he's led a ton of laps here at the Atlanta track. When this race starts, how much on the edge are you guys every single lap, Kyle?
Well, your car can be on edge, but then runs are just coming so fast, and you're building runs so fast. You're taking them, you're trying to like strategize and all that. It's at a really like fast pace, it feels like around here. So yeah, mentally it's crazy. So I enjoy it though. It's actually a lot of fun. I enjoy this a lot. So yeah, hopefully we can keep it up front tomorrow. We qualified better than I expected to. So yeah, happy with our HenderCars.com Chevy. It was looser than I was anticipating the second run there too. So I'm imagining everybody else was as well though. That's just why we went faster. But yeah, we'll see. It's a tough one tomorrow. It'll be hot, slick, but a lot of fun.
I know there's been this debate about whether or not you want to qualify up front or maybe sacrifice that speed for handling. What's your concern when the car is as fast as it is in qualifying?
I don't know. I mean, for us, I'm pretty sure we came here with more grip potential than we had at any other Atlanta race. So maybe it just worked out for how slick the surface was. But I don't know. I don't really buy. I don't buy into all that anyways. So I just, whether it's trimmed out or not, I'm going to go and try and hold a steady wheel and try and make the best decisions I can.
I know it's all about you guys, but what will be the biggest obstacle for you when this race does start?
Just making the right decisions, taking the runs. You take a lot of your runs, but sometimes it doesn't work out, and you're just not getting too anxious in those moments. So that's something that is difficult, I think, to do at these places and can catch you off guard. But yeah, we got a great team, and we've done a lot of studying, so hopefully we can be prepared.
Thank you so much, Kyle.
Thank you.
Danielle?
Shannon, Kyle Larson's crew chief is inside the garage here along with every other NASCAR Cup Series crew chief. This is a really cool peek behind the curtain. This is where crew chiefs come inside the garage every single week after qualifying to make their pit stall selections. Now, why is it important this week specifically? I talked to a number of crew chiefs this morning. They said Atlanta qualifying is critical because your qualifying spot dictates where you pick your pit. And Atlanta Motor Speedway has the shortest, most narrow, and least wide and least narrow, the smallest pit boxes on the entire NASCAR Cup Series circuit, smaller than short track pit boxes. It's tough to get in, it's tough to get out. Steve Letarte, can you tell us the process of all these crew chiefs, each picking their pits? They have these little maps here, if we can peek in, and they cross off as each crew chief makes their pit stall selection.
Yeah, so before you come, you have an understanding of what pit road looks like, how many openings there are, the perfect idea because of what you just said, Danielle. These pit boxes only being 27.5 feet long, they're the shortest on the circuit, is you would love to have an opening either behind your pit stall or in front of your pit stall to kind of make sure you have an unimpeded entrance or exit. So you have pit stall 1, one of the most coveted here, but then 9 and 10 have gaps, 17 and 18. So you go in qualifying order. So these crew chiefs kind of have a priority list, but it's a little like draft day in the NFL, right? You have your first pick, second pick, third pick, but if your number 1 pick goes off the board before it's your turn, you have to have a backup plan. And each driver and crew chief has their own little signature. Some drivers like to be very early off from turn 4. They think it's an advantage. I liked being down towards turn 1 more. I felt like it gave my driver a little bit better chance to catch his breath and hit the pit sign. So there's some customization and nuance for your driver. and then some just statistically, what pit boxes have the least amount of issue. And then after you pick Dale, then you sit around and you wait to see who picks next to you, whether they want to be next to you or whether they get forced there just because they're one of the later cars.
Yeah, you know, at a track like this, you might do a lot of splash and goes, so you're going to be coming on the pit road and getting in and out of your box, maybe with the entire field going by. So it can be pretty nerve-wracking, I think, for a crew chief, Steve. And the drivers, they're talked about this a little bit leading up to qualifying, but, you know, I'm kind of leaving this in your hands to make the best choice. And honestly, man, I think that in today's racing, there's so many competitive teams, it's difficult to really get the perfect situation. Yeah. There were a lot of options in the years ago to be able to put yourself in a good spot, but it's tough nowadays. And a lot of teams, some good teams, may have lost their ability to pick, right? And so they're left with the scraps. So that's always pretty interesting.
You know, Danielle talked about this pit road itself, but we saw Blaney make that run when he wrapped up his qualifying lap. This is as unique as it gets. When you think about the rules of the game, where you enter, and the difference between coming in under green versus caution. Now, you always enter in turn 3 and make your way here. But the timing lines through turns 3 and 4 are at 90 miles an hour under green.
Yeah, so
and so it's really, really a unique situation. There you see the pit entry coming on in turn 3.
So you enter the same time, which is right here, entering into turn 3. Under green, basically the apron around 3 and 4 is 90 miles an hour. All this right here is 90 miles an hour until you get to another timeline, and then this is normal pit road speed. We do that for 2 reasons. 1, pit road is extremely long, but 2, man, if you're running 45 miles an hour right here when the field comes by at 175, it doesn't feel good, it doesn't look good, so it's a safety thing as well. Now, under green, you run 45 miles an hour the entire length, so you still run the entire length. We get asked all the time, so this is what it is. You know, you come in and some other things, but it's the longest pit road we'll run by a long, long time. And it's just easy to lose your focus, I think, right? It's kind of like running through a construction zone. The longer you're there, the better chance you have of maybe running a little too fast.
Yeah, it's tough. There's been 1 green flag pit cycle on the dual speed pit road, and the field took fuel only during that particular cycle. There's 28 speeding penalties at Atlanta since the pit road extension in 2023, so that's the most of all tracks. We also have a lot of cautions here, so it's just rare that we'll actually get a green flag cycle. We could, but typically we're crashing a lot of cars and there's a lot of chaos and a lot of opportunities to get down pit road for fuel.
What do you have for us, Danielle?
I'm with Todd Gillens, crew chief at Front Row Motorsports, Chris Lawson, who just made his pit pick for tomorrow's race. Chris, can you show the fans at home this piece of paper where your pit selection is in relation to pit in, pit out, and why you chose that box?
Yeah, so this will be turn 1, turn 4, pit entrance, right? Yeah, it was just honestly, it's going to be about who you think is going to be around you tomorrow and who you're going to be racing. You know, it's really important to get an out with where we qualified. Try to be, you know, give yourself at least an in or an out. So, yeah, that's really about it. Just trying to be manufacturer specific and try and do a good job of who you're going to be racing around.
Qualified 21st for tomorrow's race, Chris. What do you make of the Fords, the front row, your car specifically, chances of having a great race, have that handling you need, the drivability to make runs and be up front at the end?
Yeah, actually I feel really good about our race car. We actually qualified better than I thought with the downforce we got in. It's going to be hot, so trying to give Todd everything I can to give him the best shot in traffic and to make moves and stuff, which I think is going to play a huge part in this tomorrow.
One of the smartest crew chiefs in the business right here, Chris Lawson, giving us an awesome peek behind the scenes. What happens for pit stall selection every week in the NASCAR Cup Series garage, Shannon?
Yeah, Danielle, great report because I'm standing here with Austin Dillon. He was watching to see where your pit stall is. You like it? You good?
Yeah, anytime you qualify where there's an opening, you're pretty happy, and we got a good one. So proud of these guys with Titan Risk Solutions Chevy. I mean, it was really good. I got to thank all our partners, Bass Pro Shops, everything they do for us, Chevrolet, and we've been working hard. You know, this is like a win for us as far as the season's been going. So we just want to go out there and have a good showing tomorrow night. I think Richard Boswell did a good job of making adjustments from first to second round. I think more of it is just the wind. It died down a little bit, and our cars got speed.
Yeah, 4th qualifying effort for Austin Dillon, best of the season so far. We do compare this track a lot to Talladega, Daytona, a place where you've had success. How much faster does stuff happen here at this 1.5 miles?
Quite a bit. I mean, I think I told a couple interviews earlier today, I was like, this is the closest thing to a video game that we do all year. I mean, stuff is just happening really fast. So I hope that I can translate my Daytona, Talladega type success tomorrow, because we have not had the greatest luck here. But the last 2 races we've had speed and I can maneuver, and I think being able to maneuver is really important here.
How does starting up front where you are, 4th place qualifying effort, how is starting up front going to maybe put you in the catbird seat when this race does start?
Well, you just want to be learning from lap 1 and making sure that your car, you can put it in places you need to when it counts, and I mean, it's always great to start toward the front.
Thank you, Austin.
Thank you.
Adam?
You talk about drivers that won last year that haven't won this year. Austin Dillon, one of 9 in that category, but really good in the draft and that great starting spot for tomorrow.
And we thought about front row, their struggles in qualifying. They qualified really well with Penske in the past, and they tell us right there, hey, we qualified better than we thought we would. We dialed a lot of speed and dialed in the downforce. Give up a little front row speed for a good handling car tomorrow.
That's what everybody wants to be, that guy standing on top. 6 p.m. tomorrow here on TNT. Hey, where's that cookie, man? I didn't see. We gave you the cookie.
Well,
you talked about your birthday. I mean, I know you got a birthday run in, but apparently it wasn't enough to share the cookie.
Someone just cut me a slice, and I did not realize this, but there's actually icing in between 2 layers of cookie.
Man, this is top shelf cookie.
This is Calorie Express.
We're going to have some guys slipping around uncomfortable. We'll have some other guys that are very comfortable making big moves, taking big risks.
I'm looking forward to NASCAR Nation because it hits the air at 6 Eastern time on TNT, and we're 2 for 2. Sonoma, Chicagoland, a lot of surprises down there for you guys in the audience at home. Marty Smith gets us going with the duo in the booth, Jamie Mack and Jeff Burton. Thanks for watching qualifying on True TV. We'll see you for NASCAR Nation tomorrow at 6. Cup Series Racing presented by Napa.